Well, hello again. My name is Chris, still hasn't changed. Well, what would you expect with a name? And this is still Advanced Hungarian, where we take one sentence out of the many billions that you can create in Hungarian and analyze it. And let's do this. This is a better day because I'm wearing my glasses and things and whatnot. Let's move on to the next slide. Why am I talking about things that aren't connected to grammar? So some people asked where they can find me, and I think it's important to establish a pattern. Here you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Facebook again, but that's just me, and then Skype, because I have some lessons that they go through Skype, so you might want to add me or whatnot for future reference. And then I've got my own website, which is brilliant. Okay, now this is today's sentence. Let's rush it because that's the way of good learning. Yeah, as I'm told, just cram it the night before. Voltam, tegnap, moziban. It's quite easy. 3 words, and as you would expect, Hungarian uses a bunch of attachments to the root words to make it sound like a proper thing that I want to say. In this case, the exact translation would be I went to the cinema last day, which is if I were able to speak English, I would say yesterday, but that's not the case. Right, now, to be honest, this is more of the kind of sentence where it differs just so it would be annoying, just so it would throw you off. Because in this case, it's closer to I've been to the cinema, but in English, I would never expect to hear I was at the cinema, as in went to the cinema, watched a film, came home. It's something like I was at the cinema would try to say that, well, I was there and something happened, or a story like that. So tiny differences in languages. That's why we love languages. That's why there is a proper language barrier when it comes to English and Hungarian. It's not just that we use different words and a different method to express ourselves. We use an entire different philosophy that we base our language on. So here we go. Went to the cinema last day. Why? Anyways, yesterday. So, here we go. I took the liberty of creating this brilliant white paper thing about how these things are connected. So, obviously, and you have to forgive me, that this is, I have been to the cinema yesterday, is not a proper English word. But we are talking about Hungarian here, and I intend to use all means necessary to express myself, well, in Hungarian, and use all the things in English, but not correctly. And that's the thing that I always have to use when it comes to Hungarians when they try to speak English. You have to molest your own language, if you will, a little bit, so you could learn another one. Lovely. Anyways, so the volt is the verb for existence, that's the to be, and then the attachment would be the actual I in there, because we never use pronouns, because we always use attachments. Tegnap, it's brilliant, that's the end of the sentence. Yesterday, I mean in English, and to the cinema, that whole thing. Please note that Hungarian doesn't really use the definite and indefinite articles the same way as English. If we talk about something in general, we don't use the indefinite article. While in English you would always have to specify to a cinema or to the cinema. In this case, to the cinema. So the is ignored when it comes to Hungarian. And then the to part, well, that's the thing, that's where the attachment comes in, the bun. But I actually didn't bother to, make the arrow because, well, why not? Anyways, so as you can see, different attachments, because English doesn't even use attachments, and different order. But I mean, this is not the only order you can create this sentence with. It's Hungarian we are talking about. Here you go. That's all the orders you can come up with. Now, not every sentence is insane fun like this one, but this is in the category where you actually can use all the permutations you can think of, which is absolutely brilliantly fantastic. Ah, good Lord. I know you must be thinking, oh God, Jesus Christ, why? Why? But then it just makes me happy. Not your suffering, I mean, also, well, that's kind of a lie. But anyways, it's just the sheer amount of fun that you can have with Hungarian. So, normally, you would expect that different orders imply different things, and that's true. So, Voltam, tegnap, moziban is probably the most logical thing to say. It's the normal order. Remember, Hungarian is all about the top list, the most important at first, and then the least important last. So, in this case, yes, it's the news is mostly about that I was out yesterday, and then the cinema itself. Although, if I want to talk about the frequency of how many times I go to cinema, then I use the second sentence, tegnap voltam moziban, because yesterday becomes a bit more prominent. Third one, that's if someone asks, okay, where did you go yesterday? What happened? What are you up to recently? Then you could say like, oh, moziban voltam tegnap. That's I don't usually go. The fourth one answers the question, well, when was the last time you went to cinema? And then you go like, well, I was yesterday. And then the fifth one, tegnap moziban voltam, is really it's really about if someone asks about my day yesterday, something like, well, Chris, tell me about your day, and I can lie, and I wouldn't say I was at home and then mostly, but I could go out and just lie through my teeth saying I went to the cinema yesterday. Right. And the last one, that's probably the least used. I mean, I can't say it's wrong, but it's kind of like a new thing. Like when I want to express that, oh, I'm trying new things, and then yesterday I went to the cinema as a new thing. So voltam moziban tegnap. That's great thing. So yeah, as you would expect, each of these sentences can actually be put into a situation and can be given context. And that's great because these contexts are implied. Because I'm part of the Hungarian culture, I've been speaking Hungarian for over 30 years. Well, I mean, the first couple of years I was mostly listening. But anyways, so a long time. That's what I mean. A very long time. And basically throughout that time I got accustomed to all the cultural craziness. And in these 6 examples clearly show you that there is depth in Hungarian, even though it's not the kind of compressing language that English is, trying to say all the things with 3 words. This one, yeah, it's every sentence, of course, you would have to expect in that has a sort of cultural background. But enough of that. So let's talk about the attachments. So there are two attachments featured in this sentence. Everything else is a proper word or like a root or something. Tegnap is irregular. You can't create it. And so let's talk about bonben first. It basically describes that you were inside something. And in this case, the inside part refers to the mozi, which is the cinema. And then the tam, in this case, really just because of reasons, because to be is irregular, as you would expect it, just like in English. But normally, if you take a word like olvas, which is to read, and then you attach olvas tom, and there you have it. It's quite brilliant, isn't it? It's easy as pie. So, an attachment of a verb in Hungarian has two functions. First of all, it describes the tense. Is it present or past or conditional or imperative or whatever, not just the tense but the mode. And then the second part is the person. So you have this two-in-one deal that you simply have to learn. And there you go. So let's try to pronounce just each and every one of these words. So I'm going to do it slowly. Tag, nop. And o. You have to remember that o is a thing. And the fast version is tegnap. Pretty easy. Moziban. 3 syllables, quite easy. Moziban. Moziban. You just have to pronounce it. And then Voltam. Voltam. But just so that we are here and there is no reason why not to seize the day, carpe diem. I'm not gonna say YOLO. That's banned. That's cursed. But so let's seize the day, and now let's seize the moment, to be honest, and just go through all the persons. Remember, Hungarian doesn't use 3 pronouns for he, she, it. We don't care. It's just the third person. Somebody who is not us. And that's it. So, voltam, voltál, volt, that's the third person. Voltunk, like many of us. Voltatok, that's you and the gang. Voltunk, which is wrong. I don't know why I did that. I can't even speak Hungarian. How can I teach you when I can't speak Hungarian? That would be voltak. Should I fix it? No. That's gonna be your job, because this was all intentional. I swear. I'm not the person who lies all the time. So fix this if you see any errors. If you don't see any errors, then there is no need of fixing. But remember, you will always have verbics to help you through all this. So there you go. Now, there are some stuff that you can know when it comes to conjugating verbs. So, like I said, use verbics because that actually provides a proper answer to your question. As you can see here, it's fixed. I mean my mistake before. So this one, there is a mistake in there. This page, no mistake at all. Ha! Yeah. So I'm giving you the solution, basically. And it was all intentional. Absolutely intentional. Okay, second rule. You have to practice until it feels familiar. You have to imagine when you say voltál, then, you have to imagine that person in the past. Imagination is a great way when it comes to learning languages. Imagine a situation, use the verb, even if it's just one verb at first, but you have to start somewhere. Then the second one, Hungarian always solves everything with attachments. I mean, of course we use pronouns. Of course some stuff is similar to English, but let's face it, attachments are the thing in Hungarian. This is it's the holy grail. It's the 42 of the Hungarian language. You just use attachments to solve everything. And then, like I said, never use pronouns, especially not the things like én lenni, because that sounds like I be in English. And you never see me running around saying, you be nice, or I be id go cinema. That's not, I mean, you have to follow the rules. And then I know that rules are crazy, but well, and then of course you have to be patient because it's just hard. I mean, look at that freaking page above the cows and stuff. I mean, that's just part of the huge table. There is indicative, and then there is other stuff as well. So there is a indefinite past and a definite past because of reasons. So yeah. Now, the other thing is, and I'm sure that I've talked about it before, but attachments vary, and they come in pairs or in threes, because Hungarian pays attention to the melody that is created, the harmony of the vowels. And so there is always bon, ben, bo, be, or if you want to say something like on this table, that's either on, an, or ön, depending on the noun in this case. Okay, so that wasn't, of course, verbs strictly, but we conjugate everything. And then never forget that there is always a bridge between languages. So when I try to learn English, I have something very basic that I can say, a basic tool set, just like the wrench tool set or the 100-piece little tool set thing that you go and buy at a supermarket. But then, of course, later on, if you're in the whatever fixing business, you will probably use more and more specialized tools and more expensive tools and whatnot. But at first, stick to the basics. And in this case, when it comes to the order of the expressions of a sentence, just use the English order. You can say the verb, conjugated of course, then where you go, and then when you do that. It's quite brilliant. It works every time. It will not make you sound Hungarian, but let's face it, everybody has an accent, even in English. You can smell me from miles. Now that didn't come out right. But anyways, you can see from miles or hear from miles that I'm not English, not British or American, or just something like a thing influenced by whatever I learned and my cultural and whatever heritage I have. Right, so that's mostly it, I believe. I mean, remember, on Facebook, with this whole Hungarian online thing, I run this sentence of the day, challenge of the day, whatever thing. You can't win anything other than experience, but it's great fun, and I will just, fix the sentences or fix each other's sentences if you make mistakes. And then generally, we can have a conversation, which is nice, because I'm a little bit busy lately. And that's mostly it. The end. Thank you very much. Remember, love cows, because cows are awesome.